Hi guys, this is Connie, back for some more Connie Reads Crenshaw before the baby decides to wake up. We're on chapter 25 and 26. We drove to a busy corner and parked next to a Starbucks. It was a cool and rainy kind of day. "Are you sure about this?" my mom asked. "Let me join you." "Won't be the first time I've played an outdoor concert," my dad said. "And you can't come with me. Someone needs to stay with the kids." We waited in the minivan, watching him as he crossed the street. He had his sign and his guitar, but no Aretha. My dad stood on the lane divider by the left-hand turn signal. He propped his thank you sign against his open guitar case. We couldn't hear him singing. There was too much traffic. "He needs to make eye contact," my mom said. The light turned red and a line of cars formed next to my dad. Someone beeped his horn, and my dad looked over. A driver in a taxi passed him some money. The next time the light was red, a driver in a pickup truck gave my dad coins. When the light turned green, people mostly just passed by, their eyes on the road ahead, but a few smiled or nodded. Red, green, red, green. The hour wore on. When he climbed back into our van, my dad smelled like car exhaust. He passed my mom a handful of wadded up bills and some coins. 7 lousy bucks and change. "It's really starting to come down," my mom said. "People don't like to open their windows when it rains." She gazed at the wet dollars. "We could try up by the mall. Maybe it's just a bad corner." My dad shook his head. "Maybe it's a bad idea." "We need the rain," I said, "because of the drought and all." "Good point," said my dad. "Let's look on Jackson's bright side." After a while, the rain slowed to a drizzle. We drove to a park so my mom and Robin could get some fresh air. She had said Robin was going stir-crazy. "How about you come too, Jackson?" my mom asked as she undid Robin's car seat straps. "Nah, too wet," I said. "We're both gonna get wet," my dad warned. "Robin's getting antsy," my mom said. "We can dry our clothes on top of the car when the sun comes out." Day just gets better and better. My mom leaned across the seat and kissed my dad's cheek, which was kind of stubbly. "Good times," she said. I stayed in our minivan with my dad. Aretha, who smelled a little ripe, was sleeping in the back. I decided to draw a new sign for my dad, a better one, like the one my mom had made for our bathroom door. I tore some cardboard off the end of my sleeping box. Then I made a smiling fish sitting in a canoe. He was holding a fishing pole and wearing a floppy hat. In big letters, I wrote, I'd rather be fishing." My dad was dozing in the driver's seat. His eyes were closed, but he wasn't snoring, so I knew he wasn't serious. I poked him with my sign. "Try this next time, Dad." He blinked, rubbed his eyes, and took the sign from me. For a long time, he just stared at it. "Great job," he finally said. "I like the mustache on the trout." "Nice touch. Just FYI, rather has an E. And oh, never mind. It's great, kiddo. Thanks. If it gets wet, we can grab some more cardboard and I'll make a new one." My dad set the sign down gently on the passenger seat. Then he opened the door and stepped outside. It was misty. Leaves were shiny and dripping. Mom says she's only seen my dad cry 3 times, when they got married and when Robin and I were born. I watched my dad lean against the hood of our car and cover his eyes with his head. His face was damp, but I told myself it was probably just the rain. Chapter 26. During the afternoon rush hour the next day, my dad returned to the same corner with his new sign. It was drizzling again, and gray clouds hung low in the sky. I waited in the car with my mom and Robin and Aretha. My mom had just gotten off work at Rite Aid. She said 2 people were out sick, which meant she was the only cashier. People in line were grumpy. Did I get this right? "People in line were grumpy," she said. Why didn't they just read the Inquirer and wait their turns?" A driver in a red SUV rolled down his window. He smiled and said something to my dad. They both nodded. My dad tucked the sign under his arm and held out his hands till they were about 2 feet apart. "I'll bet Dad's telling him about the trout at the lake," said my mom. She smiled. "And exaggerating." "Is that the same as lying?" I asked. "Not when it's fish-related," said my mom. When the light changed, the driver handed my dad money and waved as he pulled away. After about an hour, he'd collected a bunch of dollar bills. Also, a big cup of coffee and a sack with 2 slices of lemon pound cake in it. My sign was a soggy mess. My mom flattened the bills on her lap. $56, she announced. "And 83 cents, my dad added. My parents shared the coffee. I split the pound cake with Robin. Then I climbed to the back. Aretha was tail-thumping hopefully. When no one was looking, I gave her my whole piece. It was windy and cold, and the rain had come back hard. We listened to the radio as tiny rivers zigged and zagged down the glass. A new man went to stand on the corner. His sign said "Vet, God bless." A small, poodly-looking dog was nestled in his half-zipped jacket. "I still think you should take Aretha with you next time, Dad," I said. "I'll bet we'll make even more money." He didn't answer. I figured he was listening to the radio announcer. She was warning that the chance of rain was 80%, so it was a good night to stay inside. A summer day camp bus stopped at the light. Its windows were fogged up. I saw some kids and hunched down in case I knew them. Someone had drawn a smiley face with a word by it. "Hello," I decided, but it was hard to tell. I was on the outside, so everything was backward. Aretha licked my sticky hand. "Next time," my mom said, leaning her head on my dad's shoulder. "I'll do it." "No," he answered softly. I almost couldn't hear him. "No, you won't." And that's the end of chapter 26. Be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you. And I will see you for the next installment. Have a great day.